You might remember in one of my previous videos where I explained that the P letter is a kind of focus that enhances the normal range of the area in which we are focusing upon, so that we give it a bigger context, so that we also press out actually the things that we are expressing. If it's expressed uh, by a combination of P plus A, for instance, we have A, or a centralized focus on something or someone. When this someone is called Pa, which we use for father, we give this focus a bigger function. So we focus actually to the things that are behind it, beyond our normal scope of focus, on what we can reach and what we can see immediately. There are bigger things beyond that. So Pa is bringing us to all these bigger contexts. PAAR or PAAR will do something else. The last category is not enhancing the space that we have, like the second category of letters, which you have in the middle there with all the arrows. These are actually extending all our possibilities, extending with the P the borders as well, extending the borders until where we can see and realize things. They are extended to a different, and in a way to a higher context, bigger context. With the R from the last category, or like all the letters from the last category, they do the opposite. Instead of enhancing it, this enhancement is at times it could be also a kind of bluff to that you can say, okay, maybe we can reach the higher things, but maybe we will not. And when it's really unreachable, beyond our scope, it's maybe even better at some points with your associations and with the descriptions of the words as well, to narrow it down again. So all these last letters of the last characters that are associated with it are bringing the things back to a context that we can handle, because there might be also bigger values that are not very easy to follow. So let's go and narrow ourselves to a space or timing that we can handle, so that at least that part can be described. So if we compare another word then, Pa, from PAAR to the R, what will the R do? While the P will give it an extra space, the full space as well, an extra context and so on, the R will do then, they will go to a lesser form. And you have these three levels again. So you have the starting point, you have the body part, and you have the surface or the limits and at the borders as well. There we will limit these things. So we will limit in a way also, where the things will materialize, the body itself. And as a last point, the R there, it will connect to what is really what we are really be able to sense directly via the R, connecting to it via the materializations into a few dimensions back. So which means I go to the points of that I can reach and that I can connect to. So the R mostly is presented as this bow, because it's going back to all the points that it can connect, and that's how this bow is easily performed as well. But now we go to present it as the going back to the space that we can handle, and that's what it will do. So if you have that big Pa with the PAAR, it will go a step back. It will also go a step back in dimensions. That's what my theory also has implied, that you can build up the dimensions as an extra in the second category from D, N, Y, O, E, Z, W, G, F, P. Extra dimensions so that you have some delay, so that you can have some extra space and time to reach the things. Here we go back so that we go to the right timing, the right place at each moment that where we have that thing. It is a whole range there will always be a whole range around the center that we're going to focus upon, because there is a range of events there, the range of events of behaviorism around that center that we're going to narrow down to the point where we are at that moment. It's like following the path of a moving object. We go and try to make sense of it into as small position as possible, into this 0 point as well. So PAAR also will be viewed from one center alone. If you count it also 3 dimensions plus 2 dimensions less, we go to the 0 point. So, but that's just theory. Don't overuse this idea, but it gives you an idea. We have to go back with our focus. So the PAAR will always pair the things, and even if I will emphasize the connection, I will make the connection pop out here. I'll also have to go back to where I'm connecting it, and I will have in the end something of a cooperation in the end. No matter how you design it, it doesn't matter. I will design it better a little bit later, but it will have a pairing up of 2 movements in which one of them tends to get out, but it's always getting back to one center, and that one center is the R, of course. R on its own, like you have it here, of course you have it also in the verb are, written differently, but R is simply actually around one center, concentrating around that center, and you're moving it around actually. And with PAAR or pair, you will have these at the end a tendency of a point that wants to pop out, wants to become bigger, but in a way it needs to be recentered because of the R, it going back. So you want to go bigger, but you go back. You want to go bigger, you want to go back, and that's the pairing. You go. It's the tendency of one of these pairs to go beyond its combination, but it remains a cooperative, centralized point that is balancing itself around this. So pair or PAAR will always be circling around itself. With other word, PAARD, with D to it, written as D. D I already explained a couple of times. It's from the second category. It's about a move. So you make a move with your centralized vision. The centralized vision is around one center. So this is going to move or change, or it's going to have a delay. Is much more what the sense that you have it. You start from a center point in space, but you add a delay so that you can reach another point, another vision, another thing, so that you have a little bit more time to reach. In this case, it will be the reaching of the differences. The difference will become more clear. So with this delay, the 2 pairs will are a bit wider from each other, and they will still balance around a center, but with that delay to it. So what will happen is that pop-up also tendency that you have will come out just now and then in that case, because that rhythm is different. So you have this turning around, and at some point up something can be popped out, and that you have that feeling also that you have with horse, which I will explain one more time at the end as well. So let's go again. R, which we know already, is circling around the centralizing vision. So we're going to centralize everything which is forming, and in that way we experience it. Let's enhance this and go and add even an extra letter to it as HAAR or hair. So for HAAR we have an extra space in between, so we give it an extra space. We give the space of frames also an extra frame in between the circling around the center, and that means that the form of AAR will circle around this space, so that you will have this almost wooliness of hair as well to it, to which the R or connection points will look for all of its variations. Heart or the hearth or the fireplace is another word which has again an extra D. What did the D do? D did add a delay. It will also add a delay or an extra. It will delay that filling in of space actually as well, and so it will even get more space focus here because of it, and the delay in time, what you will do with it and what you will do inside it and what will come out and so on. All these things are associated from that letter D. In English it is hearth, of course. You have the E to it and the th in the end. I could express that as well. So you have the H, another H between, so more air will come out. It's with the E and A. You can even have more highlights of air, so or heated up air, almost like with the R to it. You can imagine it. You can imagine the movements, these movements, and you can understand the word because of it. Just a small resume. So you had R between the two A points. You had that circling around the global rhythm, let's say. So the global rhythm is at the end. So I can present it like this also. So you have a materialization around a center which has a certain rhythm which is going on. So that's that R. With HAAR we have more space between it. So what will happen? It will also circle around it, but it will do that with more space between the variations. So that you had hair at the end, of course. Then you had here R. We will go to the next word, to PAAR. P will have that delay in function to go further into the diagonal sense, and so that it has a pop out of an extra space of a reference, where the P will have that circling around into a bigger frame. So you had that small frame of circling around and then a bigger frame. So it's that dual movement which has small variations, simply because the context of the second part is different. With PAARD, with the extra D, we'll have a delay, so this circling around each other in two variations will have even more variation, because that circling around will have a delay. So we have that delay point there in part or horse, where you have also, where it also will be given a different time, an extra time, so it can have that extra time. Let's have R in it. PAAR. This dual form of PAAR will be underneath, and the popping out with the delay will be part of it as well. And how how can we present this? Actually, it's quite simple if you think about it. You have these forms which at some point, with this rhythm that you have inside, which has the two PAAR or pairs of movements, at a certain point it has enough of this delay to create this extra pop up presentation, and that gives us an idea of actually how we also associate horse of 2 movements, and then the extra one that pops out creates actually the totality of movement around a center, as the last couple of letters should present. The P or the pop out is there as well, and you have that sense of feeling, yeah, at some point also this extra pop-up will be there. Different as PAARD, it will be the word BAARD. What will be the difference? B is only around one physical center, with the D as well, pressing it out to a certain time to develop. But it's more physical, so you have this B is much more physical than the P. The P is at about popping out the beard. You know what a beard is. Will again with the R will try to follow everything which is going on, and there's a certain delay in the whole formation process as well. Extra to it is of course that you have the full perspective of that it's around a certain center where it's breaking out and forming itself. So you have that beard as a form expressed with these letter combinations. So I hope you had already a couple of examples that brings you closer to the way of thinking how you can combine the sounds a little bit more geometrically. It's not the easiest thing to deal with all the aspects, but I hope I have given you already some examples that show you how it is done and where we have to deal with. Okay, thanks again for watching. Bye.